Disclaimer: this story is pure imaginations of mine. Please don't take it seriously. It was made for entertainment purposes only. The Seoul skyline glittered beneath the floor-to-ceiling windows of the John family estate. Tae-young pressed his palms against the cool glass, his heart hammering with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "Tae-young, come sit," Mrs. John called warmly, patting the silk cushion beside her. "My son will be here any moment." At 22, Tae-young had never imagined his life would take such a dramatic turn. The Johns were one of the most powerful families in South Korea, and their eldest son, Jungkook, was a legend in the business world. A CEO at 30 who had tripled his company's value in just 5 years. "Mrs. John, I'm still not sure why you chose me," Tae-young said softly, tucking a strand of his honey-blonde hair behind his ear. "I'm just—" "You're extraordinary," she interrupted, squeezing his hand. "From the moment we met you at that charity gala, we knew. Your warmth, your genuine heart, that's what our Jungkook needs." The heavy oak doors swung open, and Tae-young's breath caught. Jungkook stood in the doorway, devastatingly handsome in a tailored black suit. His dark hair was swept back, revealing sharp features and eyes that seemed to see through everything. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and carried himself with an air of absolute authority. Their eyes met for exactly 3 seconds before Jungkook looked away. "Mother, father," he greeted, his voice deep and measured. He gave Tae-young the briefest of glances. "You must be Kim Tae-young." "Why, yes." Tae-young jumped to his feet, bowing perhaps too enthusiastically. "It's an honor to meet you, Jungkook." Jungkook's expression remained unreadable. "My parents speak highly of you." "They're too kind," Tae-young said, flashing his signature boxy smile. "I've heard so much about you too. Your work with sustainable technology is amazing. And I read that article about your—" "I trust my parents' judgment," Jungkook cut him off, but not unkindly. "If they believe we're compatible, I have no objections to this arrangement." Tae-young's smile faltered slightly. That wasn't exactly the romantic response he'd hoped for. Mr. John cleared his throat. "Jungkook, why don't you show Tae-young the garden? You two should talk. I have a conference call in 20 minutes." "It can wait," Mrs. John said firmly. Jungkook's jaw tightened, but he nodded. "Of course. Tae-young, this way." They walked through the manicured gardens in silence, the spring air fragrant with cherry blossoms. Tae-young tried desperately to think of something to say. "The garden is beautiful," he offered. "My mother maintains it." More silence. I studied art history in university. I work at a gallery now, but it's small. Nothing like what you do, obviously." "Art is important," Jungkook said, his tone softening almost imperceptibly. "The world needs beauty." Tae-young's heart skipped. "Really? You think so?" "I do." Jungkook stopped walking, turning to face him properly for the first time. In the dappled sunlight, his features seemed less severe. "Tae-young, I want to be honest with you. I'm not good at this. Relationships, feelings, emotional expression. My work consumes most of my time and energy." "That's okay," Tae-young said quickly. "I mean, I know this is an arranged marriage. I don't expect But I respect my parents deeply, Jungkook continued. And if they believe you're right for me, then I'm willing to try. I'll be a good husband to you. I'll provide for you, protect you, and honor our commitment. It was the most Jungkook had said since they'd met. And while it wasn't exactly a declaration of love, Taehyung felt hope bloom in his chest. I'll be a good husband to you too, Taehyung promised, reaching out to touch Jungkook's arm gently. I know we don't know each other yet, but maybe we can learn? Jungkook looked down at where Taehyung's fingers rested on his sleeve. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Surprise? Warmth? But it vanished as quickly as it appeared. Perhaps, he said. The wedding is in 3 weeks. I'll have my assistant coordinate with you on the details. Your assistant? Taehyung tried to hide his disappointment. You won't want to help plan it? I'm not well versed in such matters. But if you need anything at all, just ask. Jungkook checked his watch. I should take that call. It was nice to meet you, Taehyung. He walked away, leaving Taehyung standing alone among the cherry blossoms, wondering if he'd just made the biggest mistake of his life, or if somewhere beneath that icy exterior was a man worth melting for. The wedding was a grand affair, attended by Seoul's elite. Taehyung wore a custom white suit that made him look like a prince from a fairy tale, his natural beauty enhanced by subtle makeup that made his eyes shimmer. When Jungkook saw him at the altar, Taehyung could have sworn he saw the CEO's breath hitch. But the moment passed, and Jungkook's mask of composure slipped back into place. They exchanged vows with practiced precision. When it came time for the kiss, Jungkook leaned in and pressed his lips to Taehyung so briefly it could barely be called a kiss at all. At the reception, Jungkook sat beside him, acknowledged guests, made appropriate small talk. But he didn't hold Taehyung's hand. Didn't pull him close for photos. Didn't dance with him until his mother literally pushed them onto the dance floor. You look beautiful today, Jungkook murmured as they swayed to the music, his hand resting formally on Taehyung's waist. Thank you, Taehyung whispered back, his heart aching. You look handsome too. I meant what I said in the garden. I'll take care of you. I know. But Jungkook, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you think you could ever love me? Jungkook's steps faltered. His dark eyes searched Taehyung's face, and for the first time, Taehyung saw genuine emotion there. Confusion, maybe even fear. I don't know, Jungkook answered honestly. I've never been in love. I don't know if I'm capable of it. Everyone's capable of love, Taehyung said softly. Perhaps. Jungkook's grip tightened slightly. But I'll try to be a good husband. I promise you that much. It wasn't the answer Taehyung wanted, but it was honest. And somehow, that made him even more determined to find the heart he was certain beat beneath Jungkook's frost. 3 months into their marriage, Taehyung had learned several things about his husband. Jungkook woke up at 5 a.m. every morning and went for a run. He drank his coffee black with no sugar. He had exactly 3 expressions: neutral, slightly less neutral, and what Taehyung had dubbed dangerously neutral, for when business deals went wrong. He worked until midnight most nights. He was unfailingly polite, always asked if Taehyung needed anything, and never, ever touched him beyond what was necessary. They lived in a sprawling penthouse that felt more like a museum than a home. Separate bedrooms. Separate schedules. They were roommates with a marriage certificate. "This is ridiculous," Jimin declared, sprawled across Taeyoung's bed as his best friend stared miserably out the window. "It's been 3 months, Tae. 3 months. And you're telling me he still hasn't even kissed you properly?" "He's busy," Taeyoung defended weakly. "The company just landed that huge contract with." "I don't care if he's negotiating world peace." Jimin interrupted. "You're his husband. His gorgeous, sweet, patient-to-a-fault husband who's been sleeping alone every night while Mr. Ice King works in his study." Taeyoung sighed, hugging a pillow to his chest. I thought maybe if I gave him time, he'd open up. But Jimin, sometimes I wonder if he even notices I exist. This morning, I made him breakfast, his favorite, the recipe his mom gave me, and he just nodded and said, "Thank you," without even looking up from his tablet. "That's it." Jimin sat up, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "We need to take action." "What kind of action?" "The jealousy kind." Taeyoung frowned. "What? No, I can't." "Listen to me," Jimin said, grabbing Taeyoung's hands. "Your husband clearly has feelings for you. I've seen the way he looks at you when he thinks no one's watching. But he's so repressed and emotionally constipated that he doesn't know what to do with those feelings." "You've seen him look at me?" "Tae, at your wedding reception, he looked at you like you hung the moon. And then immediately looked away like it scared him. The man's terrified of his own emotions." Taeyoung bit his lip. "So, how would making him jealous help?" "Sometimes people don't realize what they have until they think they might lose it. You need to shake him up a little. Make him confront his feelings." "I don't know, Jimin. That seems manipulative." "It's not manipulative, it's strategic," Jimin corrected. "Besides, I'm not saying you should actually do anything wrong. Just spend more time with other people. Show him you have a life outside of waiting for him to notice you." "Like who?" Jimin grinned. "Well, Park Bogum called me yesterday asking about you." Taeyoung's eyes widened. "Bogum? From university?" "The very same. He's back in Seoul, working as an actor now. He specifically asked if you were free for coffee." Park Bogum had been Taeyoung's best friend during university. Charming, handsome, and completely platonic despite what their classmates used to whisper. They'd lost touch after graduation, but Taeyoung had always treasured their friendship. "I don't know." "What's wrong with having coffee with an old friend?" Jimin asked innocently. "You're not doing anything wrong. You're just living your life." 2 days later, Taeyoung sat across from Bogum at a trendy cafe in Gangnam. Laughing so hard he nearly spilled his latte. "And then," Bogum continued, his eyes crinkling with amusement, "the director yelled cut, but I didn't hear him, so I just kept doing the scene. For 3 more minutes. Everyone was staring." "Oh my God!" Taeyoung wiped tears from his eyes. "I can't believe you're actually an actor now. You were always so dramatic in class." Says the man who once gave a 20-minute presentation on the emotional depth of a single brushstroke in a Van Gogh painting, Bogum teased. "That was valid analysis. It was beautiful and completely you." Bogum's expression softened. "I've missed you, Tae. When I heard you'd gotten married, I was happy for you, but also sad I'd missed so much of your life." "I've missed you too," Taeyoung admitted. It's been a strange few months. Want to talk about it? Taeyoung glanced around the cafe, then shook his head. Not here. But maybe we could do this again? Catching up with you has been the most fun I've had in weeks. Absolutely. How about this weekend? There's a new art exhibition I think you'd love. I'd love that. They parted ways with a warm hug, Bogum promising to text him the details. What Taeyoung didn't notice was the black car parked across the street. Or the way Jungkook's driver had immediately called his employer to report the meeting. That evening, Jungkook came home earlier than usual. Taeyoung was in the kitchen, humming as he prepared dinner. You're home early, Taeyoung said, smiling. I'm making japchae. Are you hungry? Who was that? Taeyoung blinked. What? This afternoon. At the cafe in Gangnam. Jungkook's voice was carefully controlled. But something simmered beneath the surface. Who were you with? Oh! Taeyoung's heart skipped. That was Bogum. Park Bogum. He's an old friend from university. We ran into each other. Well, actually, he reached out, and we decided to catch up. I see. Jungkook moved to the liquor cabinet, pouring himself a whiskey, something Taeyoung had never seen him do before. Is something wrong? Taeyoung asked carefully. Should something be wrong? Jungkook took a sip, his eyes fixed on Taeyoung over the rim of the glass. You're free to meet with whomever you like. But you seem upset. I'm not upset. Jungkook. Was it enjoyable? Jungkook interrupted. Your coffee date? It wasn't a date, Taeyoung said softly. Bogum is just a friend. We were catching up. He held you for quite a while when you said goodbye. So Jungkook had been watching. Or had someone watching. Taeyoung's pulse quickened. Was this jealousy? It was just a hug, he said, testing the waters. Bogum's always been affectionate. It doesn't mean anything. Jungkook set his glass down with more force than necessary. I have work to do. He left the kitchen, and Taeyoung heard his study door close firmly. For the first time in 3 months, Taeyoung smiled. Over the next 3 weeks, Taeyoung became a regular visitor to Bogum's photography studio. The actor had taken up photography as a hobby, and his studio in Itaewon was filled with natural light and artistic chaos that reminded Taeyoung of his university days. Hold still, Bogum laughed, adjusting his camera. You keep moving. That's because you're making me laugh. Taeyoung protested, trying to hold a serious pose against the exposed brick wall. One more. Perfect. The shutter clicked. Tae, you're so photogenic. I should use you as my muse. They spent hours like this, Bogum taking photos, Taeyoung modeling, both of them laughing and reminiscing. And yes, Bogum posted the pictures on social media. Artistic shots of Taeyoung laughing. Taeyoung looking pensively out the window. Taeyoung holding a vintage camera. Each post tagged. My favorite model and best friend at Tay. What Taeyoung didn't fully admit to himself was that he checked his phone constantly for Jungkook's reaction. And react Jungkook did. Buzz. Jungkook's phone vibrated during a board meeting. He glanced down to see a notification from his security team's monitoring app. Another Instagram post from Park Bogum featuring Taeyoung. This one showed Taeyoung in a white linen shirt, sunlight streaming through the studio windows, his head thrown back in laughter. The caption read, Golden hour with the most beautiful soul I know. Jungkook's jaw clenched. He completely lost track of what his CFO was saying. Mr. John? Your thoughts on the quarterly projections? Fine. Approved. Meeting adjourned. Jungkook said abruptly, standing up. His executives exchanged confused glances. They'd only been in the meeting for 20 minutes. That evening, Jungkook was waiting when Taeyoung came home. Did you have a good day? Jungkook asked, his tone deceptively casual as he poured himself another whiskey. It was becoming a habit. Yes, Taeyoung said brightly, setting down his bag. Bogum and I. Another studio session? Jungkook interrupted. How did you? Oh, did you see the photos? Everyone saw the photos. Taeyoung. He tagged you publicly. Is that a problem? Taeyoung asked innocently, even as his heart raced. You tell me. Is there something I should know about your relationship with Park Bogum? We're friends. I've told you this. Friends, Jungkook repeated flatly. Friends who spend hours alone in a private studio. Friends who look at each other like... He stopped himself, downing his whiskey. Like what, Jungkook? Nothing. Forget it. No, Taeyoung said, a spark of defiance lighting in his chest. Say it. What were you going to say? It doesn't matter. It does to me. For 3 months, you barely acknowledged my existence. You worked constantly. Came home late. Treated me like I was just another obligation. And now suddenly you care who I spend my time with. Jungkook's eyes flashed dangerously. I've always cared. Really? Because you have a funny way of showing it. What do you want from me, Taeyoung? Jungkook's voice rose slightly. Do you want me to tell you that yes, I hate seeing you with him? That every photo feels like a knife in my chest? That I check my phone obsessively during meetings waiting for the next notification? Taeyoung's breath caught. Do you? Yes, Jungkook admitted roughly. Does that make you happy? I'm jealous. Pathetically, irrationally jealous of a man you claim is just your friend. Then do something about it, Taeyoung challenged. What? If you don't like me spending time with Bogum, do something about it. Give me a reason to stay home. Be the husband I've been waiting for. Jungkook stared at him, conflict warring in his dark eyes. It's not that simple. It is that simple, Taeyoung insisted. But you're too scared. You're so afraid of your own feelings that you'd rather I just sit here, waiting and wondering if you even care. I do care. Then prove it. Taeyoung grabbed his bag. I'm going to bed. Alone. Like I have every night for the past 3 months. He left Jungkook standing in the living room, and he could feel his husband's gaze burning into his back. The next week, Taeyoung pushed harder. Bogum invited me to a gallery opening Thursday night, he mentioned casually over breakfast. Jungkook's fork stopped midway to his mouth. Thursday? I cleared my schedule. I thought we could have dinner. Oh. Taeyoung took a sip of his coffee, deliberately ignoring what Jungkook said. Well, I already told Bogum yes. Cancel it. I don't want to cancel it. He's my friend. Taeyoung. Besides, Taeyoung continued, you'll probably have to work late anyway. You always do. I told you I cleared my schedule. For how long? An hour? 2. Taeyoung stood up, collecting his dishes. Bogum actually wants to spend time with me. He doesn't make me feel like an inconvenience. You're not an inconvenience, Jungkook said tightly. Then why do I feel like one? Thursday came, And Taeyoung dressed carefully in fitted black pants and a deep blue silk shirt that made his skin glow. He knew he looked good. He wanted to look good. When he came down to the living room, Jungkook was there, clearly waiting. "You look." Jungkook trailed off, his eyes roaming over Taeyoung in a way they never had before. "Beautiful." "Thank you," Taeyoung said, his heart pounding. "Don't go." "What?" "Don't go," Jungkook repeated, standing up. "Stay here. With me. Please." "Why should I?" Taeyoung asked, even though he desperately wanted to stay. "Because I'm asking you to. Because I'm your husband." "You're my husband in name only, Jungkook. We don't even sleep in the same room." "Whose fault is that?" Jungkook demanded. "You're the one who chose the separate bedroom. Because you made it clear you didn't want me." Taeyoung shot back. "You couldn't even look at me on our wedding night. You've never once asked me to share your bed. Because I'm trying to be respectful." Jungkook ran his hands through his hair in frustration. "Because I didn't want to pressure you into something you weren't ready for." "I've been ready since day one." Taeyoung's voice cracked. "But you never asked. You never tried. So yes, I'm going out with Bogum because at least he makes me feel wanted." He grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. "If you walk out that door," Jungkook said, his voice low and dangerous, "there will be consequences." Taeyoung turned back, his eyes bright with unshed tears and something else. Challenge. "What kind of consequences?" "Don't test me, Taeyoung." "Why not?" "What are you going to do? Ignore me some more? Work late again? Treat me like a business arrangement?" "God, you really don't see it, do you?" Jungkook laughed bitterly. "You have no idea what you do to me. How hard I'm trying to maintain control. How much I want." "Want what?" Taeyoung demanded. "Tell me. Use your words, Jungkook. Tell me what you want." But Jungkook just shook his head, jaw clenched. Taeyoung made his decision. He walked out. The gallery opening was beautiful, and Bogum was charming as always. But Taeyoung couldn't focus. His phone buzzed constantly with messages from Jungkook. "Where are you? When are you coming home? Taeyoung, answer me." "I don't like this." Taeyoung ignored them all, even as guilt gnawed at him. He was pushing Jungkook hard. Maybe too hard. But he needed to know if there was something real beneath his husband's cold exterior. "You okay?" Bogum asked, noticing his distraction. "Yeah, it's complicated." "Husband troubles?" Taeyoung nodded. "Tae, you know I love you, but I have to ask. Is this fair to him? Using me to make him jealous?" "He doesn't care," Taeyoung said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Really?" "Because my phone has been blowing up with messages from his assistant, very politely asking about our relationship status. And I've noticed the same black car following us around. Someone cares very much." Taeyoung sighed. "I just want him to show it." "Is that so wrong?" "No," Bogum said gently. "But maybe you've pushed enough. Go home, Tae. Talk to him. Really talk." It was nearly 11 when Taeyoung got home. The penthouse was dark except for the living room. And there was Jungkook. He sat on the couch, shirtless, wearing only dark sweatpants that hung low on his hips. His muscular chest and defined abs were on full display, and his hair was messy like he'd been running his hands through it. He held a glass of whiskey, and his eyes were dark intense, locked on Taeyoung the moment he walked in. Taeyoung's breath caught. He'd never seen Jungkook like this. Disheveled, raw, dangerous. "You're late," Jungkook said quietly. We lost track of time, Taeyong managed, his mouth suddenly dry. Did you have fun? The question was deceptively soft. Did he make you laugh? Did he touch you? Jungkook. Answer me. Jungkook stood up, and Taeyong was suddenly very aware of how much bigger his husband was. How the dim lighting cast shadows across his muscled torso. How predatory he looked as he stalked closer. We just talked, Taeyong said, his back hitting the wall. Just talked. Jungkook stopped inches away, bracing one hand against the wall beside Taeyong's head. While I sat here, going insane, imagining every possible scenario. You were jealous, Taeyong breathed. I was furious, Jungkook corrected, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. Do you have any idea what you've been doing to me? Parading around with him, posting pictures, coming home late, defying me. I wasn't defying you. You don't own me. Don't I? Jungkook's free hand came up to grip Taeyong's chin, forcing him to meet his eyes. You're my husband. Mine. And I've been patient. So patient. Trying to give you space, trying to do the right thing. But you keep pushing. Maybe I wanted you to snap, Taeyong admitted, his heart racing. Maybe I wanted to see if you actually cared. If I cared. Jungkook laughed darkly. Taeyong, I'm losing my mind. I can't work. I can't think. All I do is wonder where you are, who you're with, what you're doing. You've been driving me crazy for weeks. Good, Taeyong said boldly, even as his knees felt weak. Maybe now you know how I felt for 3 months. Jungkook's eyes flashed. You want to know how I feel? You want me to show you? Yes, Taeyong whispered. Show me. If I start, Jungkook warned, his thumb brushing over Taeyong's lower lip, I won't stop. I've been holding back for too long. And right now, seeing you dressed like this, smelling like you. After you spent the evening with him, I'm not feeling particularly gentle. I don't want gentle, Taeyong said, surprising himself with his boldness. I want real. I want you. Something snapped in Jungkook's eyes. Last chance, Taeyong. Tell me to stop. Don't you dare stop. To be continued. Final part coming soon. Please stay tuned. I hope you will like this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.